The sudden ceasefire between Iran and Israel appears to falter as Israel accuses Tehran of violating the truce and vows forceful response. Local bakery chain Taipan abruptly shuts down after more than 4 decades in business, owing salaries up to $35 million. And Chief Executive John Lee warns of soft resistance in various forms across the city, urging citizens to stay vigilant. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. In the past 2 days, the Middle East has been witnessed an unprecedented U.S. airstrike on Iran, an Iranian retaliatory strike on the largest U.S. airbase in the region, to a sudden truce between Iran and Israel. However, only hours after U.S. President Donald Trump declared the ceasefire has begun, Israel accused Iran of violating the truce and vowed to resume strikes on Tehran. Trump responded, urging Israel to calm down and saying the two countries have been fighting for so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Hours before a ceasefire announced by Trump was in place, Israeli strikes hit the capital of Iran in the early hours. After a night of heavy bombings, Tehran residents woke up to an unusually quiet morning. However, the peace did not last long. Israel said Iran launched missiles into its airspace more than 2 hours after the ceasefire was supposed to take effect, a claim that Tehran denied. But explosions bombed and sirens sounded across northern Israel mid-morning. Then Israel vowed to retaliate. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz accused Iran of breaking the ceasefire deal and instructed the Israeli military to resume the intense operations to attack Tehran. The shaky truce faltered as an Iranian official warned if Israel makes a mistake, all occupied territories will be attacked, just like an hour before the war stopped. Trump, the first to announce the ceasefire was in effect, asserted the truce he brokered with Qatar's emir would bring forever peace, urging both countries not to violate it. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier said Israel had agreed to a bilateral ceasefire with Iran in coordination with Trump, adding that Israel had achieved all of its war goals in the 12-day operation, including removing the threat of Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs. The sudden ceasefire came after Iran launched a limited missile attack Monday on a U.S. military base in Qatar, retaliating for the American bombing of its nuclear sites. Amid tensions in the Middle East, 21 Hong Kong residents who were stuck in Israel and Iran have contacted the Immigration Department. As of yesterday, all but one have left the two countries safely. The SAR government will maintain close contact with the remaining residents and provide assistance. Chief Executive John Lee reminded the Hong Kong residents in these countries to pay close attention to personal safety, better leave and relocate to other safer areas. The government raised the outbound traveler to black for Israel and Iran last week, indicating a severe threat. The renowned bakery chain Taipan Bread and Cakes, famous for inventing snowy mooncake, has abruptly shut down all its 12 stores today. The Federation of Trade Unions said around 200 employees have sought help, with an estimated unpaid wages and benefits totaling to $35 million. Jeremy Zhu has more details.
The latest casualty in the city's wave of business closures, the 41-year-old bakery posted notices at its shuttered branches in Causeway Bay, Mong Kok, and Tsuen Wan. The statement cited unforeseen and overwhelming challenges forcing an immediate halt to operations, apologizing for the inconvenience caused to loyal customers. At its Sanpo Con headquarters, staff arrived this morning only to find locked doors, while Labor Department officials visited the now-closed production facility. One employee, Lam, who has worked for the company for 5 years, said he is owed over $100,000. He claimed warning signs already appeared early this year. Senior management suddenly resigned in June. Since January, they delayed salaries, MPF payments, rent, and even suppliers' bills. Owing so many people, he said. Lam alleged the company emptied tills across branches before announcing closure, calling it irresponsible. He urged the owner to face employees properly instead of hiding. Let workers claim what they are owed. Accompanied by unions, affected staff lodged complaints at the Labor Department. Longtime employee Li, with over 20 years at Taipan, expressed her sadness. We worked hard daily hoping to save the company, but it was closed down after all, she said. Yip Lao-ching, General Secretary of the Hotels, Food and Beverage Employees Association, warned that as more workers come forward, the total unpaid amount will likely rise. The Labor Department has set up dedicated counters to process claims, with Labor Chief Chris Sun saying the department has managed to contact the company's person in charge and will make sure the government's protection of wages on insolvency fund won't be misused. Jeremy Chu, Cable News.
Chief Executive Zhang Li warned of lingering soft resistance in the SAR, despite the enforcement of the national security law in the past 5 years. Looking ahead, Li stressed that the government will balance safeguarding national security with driving economic development. Cheryl Yuan reports.
Director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, Xia Baolong, wrapped up his recent visit to the SAR, urging Hong Kong to seize its current stability to boost economic growth and improve livelihoods while safeguarding national security.
He reminded Hong Kong to steadfastly uphold national security and not to forget the harm inflicted on the citizens and the city of Hong Kong by the 2019 black-clad violence and the attempted color revolution. And we should remember the pain even though the wound has healed.
Li highlighted that soft resistance persists in various forms across the city, emphasizing the government's duty to keep citizens vigilant. He cited an earlier example where individuals illegally used others' identities to cancel organ donation registrations, creating a false impression of mass withdrawals. Li called this a clear example of soft resistance and warned that similar tactics are widespread, urging citizens to stay alert. Looking forward, Li vowed that the SAR government will strike a balance between protecting national security and fostering development. He stressed the need to boldly reform, innovate and create, while enhancing the city's traditional strengths to increase competitiveness in finance, trade, shipping and technology. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Despite falling property prices in the city, Financial Secretary Paul Chen remains optimistic about the prospects of the property market, pledging to continue land production, launch projects at appropriate times, and develop Northern Metropolis in cooperation with the market. Evelyn Bai has more details.
Speaking in an interview to mark his 3 years in office under the current administration, Chen noted that the city's property prices peaked in September 2021, followed by a protracted decline of about 28% as of April. Chen described the downward as adjustments in an orderly manner as they did not cause any systemic risks, with no signs of market panic. With the influx of capital into the banking system, resulting in lower mortgage interest rates, therefore, we assess that the property market is stabilizing and expects interest rates to remain relatively low, Chen added. In the 2025-26 land sale list, the government is set to launch 8 residential sites, expected to supply over 4,400 units. The finance chief highlighted that the government does not rush to sell and will assess the situation and take forward various projects in a steady and paced manner, reiterating that the government remains determined to sustain efforts in land production. Meanwhile, facing economic challenges and fiscal deficits, he said the government aims to actively develop new industries and leverage market forces to advance the Northern Metropolis, revealing that some big organizations have reached out to the government. Chen estimates that the operating accounts will reach a balance this fiscal year, potentially yielding a small surplus. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The government has put forward new measures to strengthen regulation of moneylenders, including setting borrowing limits for low-income individuals, including domestic helpers. While some lawmakers believe the measures will be effective, advocacy groups argue they fail to address the root of the problem. Jeremy Zhu reports.
Under the proposed changes, individuals earning less than $5,000 per month will face a borrowing cap, limiting loans to no more than 1 month's income. Taking to the airwaves, lawmaker Edward Learn said the issue of domestic helpers borrowing money and fleeing is widespread. Many long-term helpers suddenly take out loans of up to $80,000 before disappearing, a sum large enough to secure work visas in other countries. He believes the new measures will help, as a $5,000 limit may deter such actions. However, Christy Lam, founder of the Coalition of Global Home Service Sustainable Development, argued the proposals are insufficient, revealing some helpers have borrowed from as many as 15 lenders before absconding. Lam urged the government to impose stricter entry restrictions, suggesting the Immigration Department maintain records to block repeat offenders from future work visas. She also called for a total borrowing limit to prevent helpers from taking multiple loans and fleeing. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
With summer vacation season coming up, here's a heads up to Hong Kongers planning trips to Japan. The Japan Tourism Agency has urged the online travel agency Agoda to address booking problems, such as invalid reservations. Evelyn Bai reports.
Japanese local media outlets reported that the cases of travelers arriving at hotels only to find their paid bookings invalid have continued to occur, even after the Japan Tourism Agency demanded Agoda to improve its business practices in March. The authority is considering taking administrative penalties against the platform if the situation cannot be essentially improved. One of Japan's largest budget hotel chains, Toyoko Inn, issued a statement that they have encountered such problems and named third-party agents like Agoda, a Singapore-based booking service. These agents will possibly transmit wrong reservation information to the hotels, such as incorrect room type or dates, and even overcharge rates. The hotel chain said various issues have arisen from the resale of rooms by Agoda's partner companies, and that travelers must contact those firms directly to resolve problems, including reservation cancellations. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Beijing announced today that it will stage a major military parade in September to mark the 80th anniversary of the nation's victory over Japanese invasion and the global defeat of fascism. The grand event will take place at Tiananmen Square on September 3rd, a decade after the People's Liberation Army first held a Victory Day parade, according to the Communist Party's publicity department. President Xi Jinping, also General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, is set to preside over the ceremony and deliver a speech. Officials emphasize the parade will showcase the military's combat capabilities, emerging technologies, and strategic deterrence strength. While specific international guest details weren't released, the Kremlin confirmed Russian President Vladimir Putin will attend and hold talks with Xi. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 487 points. Top active stocks of the day, Tracker found was up 50 cents. Tencent was up $5.50. Alibaba was up $1.90, while PopMart up $8. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar, Euro 9.11, British pound 10.68. On to the weather now. Mainly fine tonight and tomorrow morning. The minimum temperature will be about 28 degrees. Very hot during the day tomorrow. The maximum temperature will be around 33 degrees in the urban areas and a couple of degrees higher in the new territories. becoming cloudy with a few showers later. And that's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.